Well, it's the day that we've been pushing for since the start of training camp. It's cut down day. It's the day that the entire NFL has to get their rosters down to 53 players. The Eagles didn't do too much. They did a lot of cuts over the weekend, and nothing happened yesterday. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how this roster is taking shape, some other odds and ends and rumors, whatnot, whatever you want to talk about. I've got a whole list of things here that we could cover today. Trending in the AM here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live in 30 seconds.
Fourth and goal.
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever it may be. You know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow. It is free to hit that like and share button. It's free to hit follow. It's free to do all those things. So do me that favor. Share this show out. Tell a friend. Tell one. Tell all. To join the Trending in the AM family every single morning here on Philadelphia Sports Network. It's the only sports show where your opinions actually matter. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. As always, I'm making sure I got everything up on every screen here. And I think we are good. All right, we're set to go here today. As it is, good morning, Adam. Welcome to the show this morning. It is Eagles cutdown day. It's NFL cutdown day. It's the day that all teams have to have their rosters at 53 men. And, the Eagles made a flurry of whatever type of moves over the weekend. But I expected, so there are about 70 men left on the roster. They got to get to 53 this afternoon. I expected some moving and shaking, as you saw across the NFL yesterday. Yet nobody really came or went yesterday. The Eagles made some minor adjustments. Isaiah Rodgers from the Colts, who won't play. And that was it. So Howie Roseman is going to be busy as can be today. They're going to come fast and swift these cuts. Why did they sign Isaiah Rodgers if he is suspended for the whole year? Well, Adam, I think it's a fantastic question, and I think it was Howie being very proactive. Isaiah Rodgers is suspended for the whole year because of gambling. He was one of the Colts players caught gambling. Isaiah Rodgers is a cornerback. He was in the 2020 draft class, which is something on my agenda to talk about today. And, he was ranked, according to PFF, you take their rankings with a grain of salt. I know. I do as well. He was ranked the 5th best cornerback in the NFL last year, according to PFF. He was the 6th best coverage cornerback last year as well. Colts were moving on from him because of the gambling situation. Howie saw a young, I think he's 25 years old, a young cornerback that's got lots of potential. He's also a very good punt and kick returner as well. And said, we could bring him in. He doesn't count as one of our 53 players. I don't think he even counts against the salary cap this year because of his suspension. He's basically a guy you're just picking up off of waivers and stashing away his rights till next year. And then next year, you think about it, Darius Slay, James Bradbury are already into their 30s. You got Avonte Maddox. You've got a lot of young, unproven guys. We don't know what Zach McPherson's going to be like when he comes back from his injury. The Isaiah Rodgers move from Howie Roseman, which was the main move, one of 2 or 3 main moves yesterday, was a really smart, big picture, long-term move. You go out and you get a cornerback that maybe in a year is going to be something. And if not, you could cut him and it's not really costing you anything. I think it was a smart move from Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman's been doing this for a few years. He was a 6th-round pick, Isaiah Rodgers, who's kind of turned himself into everything. But over the last couple of years, Howie Roseman has gone out and grabbed mid-season, early season, all over, a lot of young guys. Tay Gowan is one name that pops into my head. A lot of young guys to play cornerback just to see. Now, most of them haven't worked out, but he does a lot of low-end investment in these fringe cornerbacks, hoping one pays off. And who knows? Sometimes they do. So this is a guy, Isaiah Rogers. That's a really smart move, Adam, for Howie Roseman to make this week, because somebody was going to pick him up. Good morning, Anthony. How you doing today? I hope you're well. I hope you're ready for what is going to be a fast and furious day. I guarantee, I make so many tweets today as news breaks here and there about everything that's happening with the Eagles. Because on top of the Isaiah Rogers news, the other big piece of news was that Dirk Barnett was given permission. His agent Drew Rosenhaus was given permission to seek a trade off the Eagles to a team where he will get more playing time. Now, Derek Barnett is a guy that I have making my 53-man roster with this Eagles. He provides a great depth piece. He's a great blitzer, and he's actually pretty solid, stopping the run off the edge. But he's got the fighting, he's got the penalties, he's got the what was Nick Sirianni's comment? It's always effing him or whatever he said got caught lipping on the sideline. Um, he's got a lot of lovers and a lot of haters in Philadelphia. And I think it's interesting that Howie's willing to let him seek a trade, knowing that Hassan Reddick's got a thumb issue. Who says he's going to play with a wrap, he's going to be fine, whatever, but he's got an issue. Nolan Smith's got a shoulder issue. Brandon Graham's 35, 36 years old. I'm surprised Howie's willing to let Derek Barnett seek a trade. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. And the question is, what would fair return for Derek Barnett actually be? Howie will 100% sign 1 to 2 guys today that after they are cut. Without a shadow of a doubt, Howie Roseman will sign a bunch of guys off of other teams' rosters. Punters, linebackers, safeties. Some will have heard of, some of them we will not have heard of. It's gonna be a fast. And this is Kyle. This is the thing with this new. All the cuts are due at the same time. Normally, you cut down 10, and then you cut down 10 more. Every week, and these guys don't get cut so quickly. Today, there are going to be thousands of players cut across the NFL, and I'm sure Howie's got a board somewhere with about 30, 40 names that he thinks might get cut. And he's going to see those names come up, and he's going to be like, get on the phone. Get their agents on the phone. Hell, he may have already put in calls to agents. When your guy gets cut, make sure I'm your first call. It is going to be so fast and furious. And it's going to be kind of insane. I guarantee if we're not busy at the shop today, I will be staring at my laptop nonstop, reading information, refreshing Twitter, refreshing social media, getting every little last bit of information, taking notes. That's just the way cut down day goes. And it's fun. It's exciting. It's fast and furious is what I like to call it. But on the Derek Barnett front, which also on a side note, supposedly it kind of got snuck in under all the Derek Barnett talk that Greg Ward was also given permission to seek a trade, which I'm surprised. We'll get into that in a second. But Derek Barnett, what is up, my man? How you doing today? What's going on? Derek Barnett, what is he worth in the trade market? And there's a lot of back and forth on social media yesterday. People are saying just get rid of him for a 7th rounder. Some people saying you got to include him in a package for JT. 5th rounders, 6th rounders, 3rd and 6th rounders, all different things. Let's think about Derek Barnett for a second. Former 1st-round pick. He has not lived up to the 1st-round hype. And of course, we always talk about the other media sites. One of the channels on the dial had a poll. Is he a bust? He is not a bust. Did he put up the stats of a 1st-round guy that broke Reggie White's Tennessee sack record? No. And I think Derek Barnett came in with a lot of lofty expectations because he had broken Reggie White's sack record. He didn't have that. Then, the guy's made some sacks. He's had some injury history. He recovered the fumble in the Super Bowl. He's had some very strong moments. He's a guy that can still play 10 or 12 snaps a game and still provide you 4 to 6 sacks this year in the Eagles' rotation. Now, another team that needs an edge rusher, and he's going to play 50, 60% of the snaps, he could be a double-digit sack guy still if he can stay healthy. Now, what's that worth? When you put that word "if healthy," what is that worth to other teams? That is always going to be the big question. I think Howie's one of those guys. He's a shrewd businessman. Howie is going to want more than what other teams. It's just like every smart GM is going to say, "I want this much. You're going to offer this much. Where are we going to meet in the middle?" I know the Eagles are starting in 10 days, but can we not overlook what is happening across the street in Phillies? Absolutely. Trey Turner has the defensive play of the game, and it's 2 home runs. Bryce Harper's on fire too. John, you are without a shadow of a doubt right. I'm trying to sneak Phillies talk in a little bit every day. They are on fire. The offense is proving that they can out hit everybody, John, and it's fantastic to see. I started to think we'll get back to Dirk Barnett in a second. This could be Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, anything related. The standing ovation we gave Trey Turner has turned his season around massively. Is there another person in Philadelphia sports or in general that we want to give a standing ovation to help turn their life around? What is up, Tyrone? How you doing today? Do we want to give Joel Embiid a standing ovation? Do we want to give I'm trying to think. There's nobody negative on the Eagles right now that I have to worry about giving a standing ovation to. We'll save the Eagles standing ovation for when we need it. Joel Embiid, maybe the Flyers organization. I don't know. There's got to be somebody out there that we want to give a standing ovation to that'll help turn their career around. Because, like I said, I kind of was against the whole standing O thing, but you know what? It's worked. It's worked wonders for Trey Turner. I wish it would have worked for Ben Simmons when we were giving him the free throw shooting tips. I wish it would have worked for Markel Fultz when he made shots and we cheered him. It didn't work for them. But Trey Turner, it sure has. Dark Barnett, 21 and a half sacks, 29 penalties, 10 of which were personal fouls. All right. Sure. What did how many Google search this for me, Kyle? How many penalties did Landon Dickerson have last year? Different position, different amount of snaps. I get it. A lot of those, and we're talking over. What was he drafted in 2019? No, even further back than that, like 20. He was in the 2016 draft. We're talking over a long period. Those penalties over a long period. The sacks number needs to be higher for sure. But sacks is like batting average. How many pressures is he getting? How many quarterback hits is he getting? Obviously, at least 10 because he had 10 personal fouls. There's a lot more to it. On a team where it's deep at end, not everybody can get the sack. Look, I know he's got a lot of penalties, Dark Barnett, but some of those penalties are reputation calls, and I stand by that opinion. He is still a vital, valuable person on this Eagles team or on another roster. And if the best you're going to get in a trade is a 6th or 7th round draft pick, I'm not doing it. I am not trading Dark Barnett for a 6th round pick. That's probably all he is worth, but I'm not trading him for it. I need something. I need a fourth condition, a fifth conditional fourth, whatever. I need something like that. If you want Dark Barnett for a 5th round pick, I want a 5th round pick that could turn into a fourth if he gets X amount of snaps or X amount of sacks. I think Dark Barnett could be a valuable player on another team. I understand he's got a bad reputation here in Philadelphia, but man, I cannot get behind the people that are willing to just dump this guy for a 7th round pick just because he's committed 10 personal fouls. I think he's much more valuable than that. Maybe Dark Barnett could get a standing ovation, and then maybe that'll turn him around. Maybe because turn Trey Turner around. Something needs to get. Dark Barnett is a severely undervalued player solely because of the penalties. I think if you take away the penalty issue, you take away where he was drafted, and you take away that Reggie White record that he broke, we look at Dark Barnett a lot differently. I think we do. But he's not a bust, a complete and total bust. He's definitely had a valuable role in this city. And you know what? Honestly, if you cut, let me find where's my sheets of names. If you cut Dirk Barnett or trade Dirk Barnett, that means you're starting Tupelodu makes the roster, Patrick Johnson, Kyron Johnson. Where's my other list here? I've got a couple different lists here on players. Actually, I think I threw some of my stuff out. Patrick Johnson maybe makes the team. Ojomo plays snaps. I'm not sure if Dirk Barnett is as easily replaceable as people think. Listen, if Howie can get a first round pick for Carson Wentz, he can get at least a fourth or fifth for Dirk Barnett. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, Howie Roseman, we always say it on this show. He's playing chess, not checkers. What the New Orleans Saints GM said it best, uncensored. He said flat out, I don't want to answer calls from Howie Roseman. The guy gets the better of me every time I answer the phone and it says the 215's calling. Like, seriously. So I have faith that Howie will get the max value if it's a deal done. Now Dirk Barnett, I see this comment here from John, my man. Package him for a linebacker. Now I don't know what it would take to get, say, a Patrick Queen here or a Devin Witherspoon or whatever his name is in Tampa, or a safety like Buda Baker, which we're going to talk about the card. I know this is an Eagles and Philly centric show, but we are going to talk Cardinals at some point today, without a shadow of a doubt. But or Jonathan Taylor, hey, I don't know what the value. Like, just say Jonathan Taylor was going to go for a third. Would Dirk Barnett a fourth be enough? Say Patrick Queen wanted a second. They wanted a second for him. Is Dirk Barnett a third or a fourth enough? Can you package him with a lesser of a pick? Because he is better, again, like I said, than we give him credit for. How about a comparable player, meaning a high draft pick that's not yeah, I mean, a change of pace guy, or, change of scenery guy for a change of scenery guy. Dirk Barnett is on a 1-year deal. He wants the chance to play. He's going to play 10 snaps a game here in Philly, barring an injury. He wants to go somewhere where he's got a Super Bowl ring. He's looking for a paycheck. Not saying he doesn't want to win a Super Bowl. It's not what I'm saying about him. But he's looking about the future. He wants to go somewhere where he could show what he is capable of. Defensive ends, edge rushers get paid big money in the NFL. Hell, that's why he's making like $7 million this year for the Eagles. And he's a back end guy. Because edge rushers, guys that get after the quarterback, get paid. And if he can go somewhere and play 40, 50 snaps a game versus 10, show what he's still capable of, he's in line for a big payday next offseason. So, I mean, I understand why. 147 total tackles in his career, 150 yards in just personal foul penalties. Just not sure his production is worth all the penalties. Man, you guys always, I mean, again, so I would say, I would guarantee if you go watch, but I'm going to put I don't know if Deebs is watching. Deebs is actually in school, I think, right now. I need a video package put together of those 10 personal fouls. Because I bet you if you watched all 10 personal fouls in a row, I guarantee you 3 or 4 or even 5 of them were questionable calls. I remember one, I think it was against Tom Brady, where he barely sneezed on Tom Brady. Flag is out. Why? Because Dirk Barnett's got that reputation. So I just want to point that out. 10 personal fouls is a lot. You can't take it away. And his reputation became his reputation because of his actions. But I bet you some of them aren't as bad as people think. What is up, Eric? Welcome to the show. We got lots happening football-wise today and baseball, because the Phillies are playing damn good baseball. Hal is standing on a hill with a sniper rifle, and all 31 GMs are running up the hill. You get the, yeah, I guess maybe not the best time for a joke like that, but I get it, my man. Howie is that Undertaker AJ Styles meme where a GM is feeling good about making a deal, and Howie, fantastic. I love that meme. It's fantastic. I really wish AJ Styles would have came to WWE sooner and would have actually had a real match with the Undertaker and not a pre-recorded one. But it is what it is. But I get it. I get it. No one wants to work with Howie. I get it. But Dirk Barnett is worth something. He is. How much? And we could throw it. And again, we're about 20 minutes into the show. We've only got 10 likes so far. Likes are free. Make sure you're hitting that like button, people. Fam, do that word. Do that good work. Hit that like button and hit that share button for me. Bring more people into the conversation today as we try to figure this out. Greg Ward was also, and that kind of information on Greg Ward kind of snuck under the radar, because everybody's talking about Dirk Barnett's trade. And all of a sudden you see just, a little ticker that Greg Ward was also given permission. What is up, yo? How you doing this morning? Welcome to the show. What about Washington? They have to replace Young. I need a fourth with them. It'll be basically a third. Yeah, I mean, I don't have Certain guys I wouldn't want to trade in the division. Obviously, I wouldn't have an issue trading Dark Barnett in the division. He's basically working on a 1 year deal. Um, Washington is going to be a train wreck this year. You might be able to get a first round pick from Washington. I mean, did you guys see Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron? First last year, Riverboat Ron doesn't know his team is still in playoff contention with 2 weeks to go. And then yesterday or 2 days ago, I saw the quote yesterday. So maybe sometime this weekend, Riverboat Ron said, and I quote, I didn't know my quarterback was that good. Talking about Sam Howell. First off, Sam Howell's not that good of a quarterback. Secondly, what are you doing that you don't see or know what's going on with your quarterback? Riverboat Ron is still the coach of the Washington Commanders only because of the sale of the team. Josh Harris, Sixers owner, buying the team. Once that's been gone through, which it's now gone, I guarantee you, Ron Rivera, I'd say November 1st, Riverboat's on is gone. It's crazy. But maybe just maybe, you can convince them, to take a chance on him. So just one question because I didn't follow Barnett in college, but were the personal fouls an issue in college as well? I don't think so. I didn't follow him. The only thing I know about his college career is he broke Reggie White's sack record. That's all I know about him. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to blow smoke up and say yes or no. But I don't remember. Now, I wasn't doing shows, so I wasn't taking notes and stuff like that. I don't remember talking about, oh, we got Dark Barnett. He's got issues. I just remember talking about Dark Barnett. Oh, we drafted this guy that broke Reggie White's sack record. That's why I hate comparisons to players. Like, who was it? One of our safeties, Kayvon Wallace, was like the next Brian Dawkins based off that was his player comparison. So I don't worry about that stuff. I wait to see what they do on the field. Derek Barnett, yeah. Look, I'm not trying to discount his penalty. I'm not. Obviously, he's committed a lot of them. I just don't want to make it all about that because he still provides great pass rush potential, great pass rush. He covers the edge again on run plays when he's out there very well for his level. I'm not saying he's one of the greats or anything like that, but within his level, he does it very well. I think there's value there. And I'm not just shipping him off for nothing. I'm packaging him with a lesser pick for a player, or I'm trying to get a 5th-round pick for him. That's my bare minimum. Barnett had a bad rap in college. You're right. He is good and is packaged for Queen or Taylor. $7 million comes off the salary cap and can use it to negotiate. I think it's a great comment, John. And I think it's fair and very possible. And yes, yeah, that is why Eric Bieniemy is in Washington. Because when Ron Rivera is gone, he's going to step right in an interim role and get that first coaching opportunity. He was probably told that right off the bat. Yo, we can't fire Ron Rivera because of this. So you're the heir apparent. Although he was the heir apparent everywhere else he's been. Eric Bieniemy, I don't know if Eric Bieniemy is going to be a good coach or not. I don't. You would think he would have been a coach by now. I know he's got his issues, but I don't know. But could you imagine being Sam Howell? Could you imagine being in Washington last year and Ron Rivera doesn't know you still got a chance at the playoffs? Then Carson Wentz goes out and throws, what did he throw, like 3 interceptions in that game, week 16 or 17 or whatever it was? And then your quarterback who you've anointed your starter, he comes out and says, I didn't know he was good. Like, can you imagine that's it? Like, what's a worse, like, we always talk about in Philly, we are blessed. We've got Howie Roseman. We might have a train wreck in Philly with the Sixers. The Phillies, we're not sure. They look great right now. But the Eagles, I mean, there's nothing negative going on with. We literally are spending 25 minutes of the show today talking about Dark Barnett. That is how solid our Eagles organization is. But then you look at Washington and you look at the Arizona Cardinals and you're like, man, thank goodness that we've got Jeffrey Lurie at the helm of this organization. Because the rest of the organizations, there's so many bad things going on in sports right now, organizationally wise. Man, we are so lucky. Listen, I can care less about penalties. I'm just trying to figure out when this dude forgot how to play football mistake free. Is all it was. It wasn't an issue in college. Why is it now? Again, okay, you want to dive deep into it. I get it. Again, we got 22 people watching, only 11 likes on YouTube, 5 on Facebook. Make sure you hit that like button and share button. It is free to do that. I'd greatly appreciate that. If you could all do that, right? 20 of these 23 people on YouTube, hit that like button. Maybe Dark Barnett saw the comparisons to Reggie White. Dark Barnett saw He's a bust label, and maybe Derek Barnett tried to get aggressive. And maybe he just got a little. It's something we talk about with Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown, and again, I don't remember Derek Barnett's rookie year like really, really well. But what's Sidney Brown's problem? We've talked about it on this show. Raw talent, doesn't know how to throttle down. Sidney Brown, how he is right now, you might see a late hit or two come out of him because he's going 110 miles an hour. Maybe that was part of the problem with Derek Barnett at first, is that he didn't know how to throttle down. Then the pressure of living up to the bus, so he tries to go a little harder, and he gets called for a foul. Then he's had 4 or 5 of these calls. So then people just see his number, 96. So the refs are like, oh, he's near the quarterback. We're just going to – their hand is on their flag before the play's over because they see Derek Barnett getting near the quarterback. I really think that. I bet you if you could review and use a instant replay on personal fouls on quarterbacks, 1 or 2 of those Derek Barnett's would have been called back by now. I really believe that. I believe he wanted every advantage rushing. He always tried to work the snap count. Very possible. I wish the players wouldn't refer to us fans when approached example, the AJ. Look, the AJ Brown, Devontae Smith thing. What's up, K1? How you doing this morning? The AJ Brown, Devontae Smith thing is interesting because it's something that I've actually pushed on the show. And I've talked about a lot on this show lately and this offseason that AJ Brown, Devontae Smith is better than AJ Brown. I've said it before. And when I first made a tweet about 3 months ago, 4 months ago, when it blew up, that people are going to realize what I see, that Devontae Smith is better, I got crushed by about a couple dozen people that saw that tweet saying, why am I trying to start controversy? I'm not. I'm just saying that I really like a player. I don't think it's as big of a deal as Devontae Smith made it out, or AJ, whoever it was yesterday made it out to be. Devontae Smith is due for a big pay raise after the season. He's a fantastic wide. Like, we literally have 2 wide receivers that by the end of this year could finish in the top 10 in the NFL. Like, in the rankings. Yardage wise, I mean, they're both going to be over 1,200 yards. Touchdown wise, they're both going to always be close to double digits. It's crazy. I don't think it's as much of a controversy as other people make it out to be. Eric Bieniemy is a tyrant, which, you know what, maybe with the situation in Washington, that's what they'll need. Like, I was working on my win-loss records yesterday. I posted them online. I still bear to make some changes if I want to once final cutdowns happen today. But I don't think Washington's winning many football games. No offense to my ref the district guys. It's going to be a long year in Washington. They're more worried in Washington about changing the culture around the organization, changing the impression. Oh, that's why Josh Harris has already said they might change the name again. They're more worried about their image than the actual football team right now. The football team will come once the image is starting to get better. It's Jalen's team first and foremost. We haven't won anything to even start comparing. Hey, look, fantastic point. We haven't won anything yet. We're very high. We're riding high right now. The Eagles, in my opinion, are winning this NFC again and making it back to the Super Bowl. Hell, it's probably going to be an Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl again. But we haven't won anything yet. So I think that's fair. I think it's very fair. When we say better, this is literally 1A versus 1B, almost a Doc Holliday. Absolutely. It's not like when I say Devontae Smith might be better than A.J. Brown, that I'm calling A.J. Brown a scrub. I'm not. A.J. Brown is a fantastic. They're two. We've spent long periods of time on this conversation throughout the months. They're just 2 different wide receivers. I just think Devontae Smith needs his chance to shine, his chance to prove who he is. Imagine being compared to Reggie White. Could you imagine having to live up to that pressure? Brock Purdy's going to face that pressure because he's going to be compared to Joe Montana or Tom Brady all year because he's the next coming. We know that. Why is it important that one is better than the other? What's more important, a great leadoff hitter or a great cleanup guy? Isn't the goal to have both? Yeah, look, again, we're comparing their skill set. I'm just trying. I think the conversation is being misconstrued across all people that are having this conversation. That it's not about who's better. It's about making sure people realize that Devontae Smith isn't 2. He's 1B or 1A, and the other, they're both 1s. Think about it. AJ Brown, if you didn't have Devontae Smith on this team, AJ Brown might catch over 1,500 yards. If you didn't have Devontae Smith on this team, Devontae Smith goes elsewhere. He's going to be a 1,500-yard guy on another team. Only so much yardage to go around with two elite wide receivers. They're both super, super elite. I don't think it's about who's better than the other. It's making sure both get equal amount of respect. I think that is what the question or the point is. That's why I drafted both. I can have Smith at my wide receiver. Yeah, if your flex spot on a knife night. Yeah, I agree. Eagles Uncensored's predictions. 13 and 4, 11 and 6, 6 and 11, 5 and 12. First off, Giants are winning more than 5 games. I am comfortable enough saying so. I've got 13 and 4 right now. This could change tomorrow. Once I see roster cut downs for the Eagles, I might bump the Eagles up one or down one. I don't know. We'll see. See what kind of trades they make as well. I got the Eagles at 13 and 4. I've done a detailed win loss record and why they win or lose almost every game. The Eagles. We'll go into that late this week or beginning of next week. I got Dallas also at 11 wins. I've got the Giants winning 9 games this year. Giants are a good team. Brian Dabble is not going to let his team regress that much. But they win 9 games last year. They're not going to regress. They're going to do the same. And I got Washington at 4 wins right now, 4 and 13. That is my predictions at this point. Eagles Uncensored. And again, I don't like doing predictions before final cut downs and final rosters are set. But I had a slow day at the shop yesterday. First day back to school in our area. I'm always one of the slowest days. I should just close back to school day because it's always such a slow day. But that's what I put together for. I put together the win loss record for all 32 teams yesterday. So if you got any questions about any teams and what I think, I've got a record prediction here for all 32 teams. Bold predictions. Do I have bold predictions? Is that what you're asking for? I mean, I'm looking at my win loss records here. I got crushed because I had the NFC South without a single winning record. I got the NFC North without a losing record in it. Even though I've crushed the Jets, I predicted they'd win more than I joke about. I don't think I've got any bold record predictions. I do have the Cardinals only winning 1 football game. Could you imagine? Again, the Eagles organization, A+, gold standard. Don't like that term, but they are what they are. And then you got the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon. It couldn't happen to a better person. You walking into that situation in Arizona. What do I have with the Lions? This prediction right now, second place in their division, making the wild card, 11 and 6. Adam, that's what I got with the Lions, 11 and 6. A Vikings fan said, "Well, why?" Or a Lions fan said that I have the Vikings at 12 and 5, Lions at 11 and 6. I said you could flip flop those 2 teams, and I would not complain one bit. Sorry, bro, I'm not high on the Giants. They were overhyped, but we'll see. It's because, yeah, look, I'm not hyped about the Giants. I don't think they're a great team or anything, but I think they're a good team with a good coach. They got a solid defense, not a great defense. They got a solid team and a great coach. Brian Dabble will never let his team only win 5 games unless they're stripping it down. The NFC North is not that good. Well, the Packers are not going to be great. The Bears are not going to be as great as people think. I saw some big blue check mark, some former NFL player, maybe it was Clay Harbor, saying that the Bears were going to win 12 games. I'm like, yeah, right. That ain't going to happen. The Lions are good. I think I might be over projecting at 11 wins with the Lions. I might be, but we'll see. I think 10 wins locks up the NFC North. It's possible. I think people are a little hard on the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a good team. Kirk Cousins is a great regular season quarterback. How they replace Dalvin Cook, we'll see. Justin Jefferson's still the best wide receiver. He might be the best player or 1B best player in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Jefferson. Flip a coin on who's the best player in the NFL. Justin Jefferson might be the only non-quarterback to win an MVP in the next 10 years. He's that damn good. Kirk Cousins can just fling the ball. Justin Jefferson's going to catch it every time. Not a single good quarterback in the North. I think Kirk Cousins is good. Slightly better than good. Jared Goff is good. Justin Fields, unproven. Jordan Love, definitely unproven. The Giants only made the playoffs last year because the whole NFC sucks. They got in on default. I agree. They're not making the playoffs this year. I got the Lions at 11 wins, the Cowboys at 11 wins. And the 49ers and Seahawks both at 11 wins. One wins the division, one's the wild card. So 11 wins to get to the playoffs this year, in my opinion. But 9 wins, I think, is a fair number for the Giants. Um, Laughing out loud. You really think Jordan Love is as? I don't know what he is. We can't say he's going to be good or bad. We have no idea. He's been riding the pine for years. There's no way to figure out what Jordan Love is. We're going to find out. We're going to find out really soon because we're less than 10 days away from the start of the season. Vikings are going to be tanking. I don't think so, K1. You got Kirk Cousins and you've got Justin Jefferson. That's not a team that's tanking. Phil, I have the Birds 13-4 as well. Cowgirls 10-7. They're going to crash and burn. This Trey Lance thing, yeah, we didn't really dive deep into it yesterday, but man, Jerry's comments didn't help this. Yeah, if I'm Dak Prescott, I want out of Dallas, and I hope Dallas gets rid of him so I can cheer him on. Are you telling me Justin Jefferson is better than Rager? Yeah, barely. Jalen Rager is Justin Jefferson's Devontae Smith, basically. 1A, 1B. That's what I'm saying. Make sure we're hitting that like button. We've had up to close to 30 people watching this show live. Still only 16 people like this video. Likes and shares are free, my people. And get those comments in. If you're watching, just drop me your comments. I want to talk about the Cardinals for a second, too, because it's Eagles related. Buda Baker and Zach Ertz are two guys that they're going to get rid of today, probably. But, man, could you imagine being in the Arizona Cardinals facility and Jonathan Gannon, like, he quit on us in the Super Bowl because he was already locked into that Cardinals job. And now they are literally stripping. They cut their backup quarterback, Colt McCoy, who was going to start yesterday. They put Kyler Murray on IR to start the season. So he's going to miss at least. Kyler Murray ain't playing a game this year. They're tanking for the number 1 pick and that quarterback from USC, which means they're going to have to try to trade Kyler Murray in his big contract next year. Could you imagine being Jonathan Gannon and be like, oh, yeah, I get my first coaching job. I got Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Buda Baker, all these names. And then all of a sudden, we're 10 days out of the season, and you got nothing. And he's got to decide between who are the quarterbacks, some 6th-round guy I've never heard of, and the other guy, what's his name, Dobbs or something, journeyman backup. Like, seriously, and he's not naming who his starting quarterback is yet. The guy that we brought in a day ago or the 6th-round rookie. Like, seriously. Like, he wants to keep a competitive advantage. Like, seriously. Like, the Cardinals might not win a game this year. I have them down as a 1-win team. And I think that's a bold prediction because they might go 0-17. Like, it's pathetic. Gannon equals Brett Brown. That's hilarious. Yo, where's the NFL? Is Adam Silver going to step in and pull a Sixers with the Cardinals and say, no, you can't tank. You know, you guys got to try to do something. Who would be the equivalent of Brian Colangelo to bring in Arizona to stop the tanking process in Arizona? It's pathetic. Murray will be a Dallas Cowboy this. Then why'd they bring in Trey Lance? I would love that broadcasting system because I'm not a Kyler Murray fan. I think Kyler Murray is an extremely overrated quarterback. Physically talented and athletic and gifted, but he doesn't have it up here. And that's always been his problem. So let him go to Dallas. Dak Prescott already wants out. You already brought in Trey Lance. Jerry Jones already said he wished he had Jalen Hurts. So go get him. Go give him Kyler Murray. Sure. Why not? And that kid from USC has already said that if he doesn't like who's number 1, he might not even go into the draft because nobody's going to want to go play for Jonathan Gannon in Arizona. Ridiculous. They're going to have to eat Murray's contract. It's untradeable. Oh, yeah. They're going to have to eat a lot of that. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to trade a 1st-round pick with Kyler Murray to get a 7th-round pick back, not to eat that salad. That sounds like a Sam Hinkie thing to do. Who is going to want Kyler next year? The Raiders, the Commanders? The Commanders, maybe, depending on how Sam Howell does. The Falcons, maybe. The Raiders, for sure, could be in on them. San Francisco, maybe. Because, let me tell you, you just got rid of Trey Lance, and Brock Purdy ain't the deal. He isn't. San Francisco's made some quarterback mistakes. Kyler Murray will have a market. I'll be honest. There will be a market for him. Funny thing is, no matter what that 1 year, even if it's tanking, we'll go on to be a part of Gannon's evaluation. Yeah. I mean, Gannon might be a one-and-done guy in Arizona. He really will. Well, if Arizona's tanking, they got the best head coach to do it. Look, I don't want to bash Jonathan Gannon. We don't make the Super Bowl last year without him. Every player on that team played a part. Now he might have been part of the reason why we lost the Super Bowl, for sure. But you got to give Jonathan Gannon credit. We had a top 10 defense last year. Jonathan Gannon was the defensive coordinator. Give him some credit. But you know what? The way he handled the end of the season, the way he handled his exit out of Philly, it couldn't have happened to a better person. And I'm more than happy to laugh at him and what he has walked into there in Arizona. So he better make Andy Reid type turnaround. He ain't. He ain't. Murray traded to the local esports team. Is he allowed to wear a sports bra when he's doing that? Was that him wearing the sports bra? I think it was. Um, Tampa Bay, there's another team that could go. Look, when we talk about our top 5 quarterbacks, we debate that. But between 8 and 12, after you get through the top 12 quarterbacks in the NFL, there's a severe drop off in quarterback talent. Kyler Murray doesn't have it up here, but he's still a talented football player. He's still young and has potential as a quarterback. So there will be teams. There are a lot of teams with bad. Look, you got 4. It's a 4 rookie quarterbacks starting this year in the NFL. None of them deserve to be starting, but because there's a severe lack of quarterback talent, they will. One of these guys, Stroud, Richardson, and one of these rookie guys isn't going to pan out. They might be in play for Kyler Murray. There's a lot of maybe New England. Mac Jones ain't the deal there. The Jets need somebody to replace Aaron Rodgers after he decides he doesn't want to play anymore. I don't know. There are going to be a lot of teams that will line up. Now, they're not going to offer first-round picks, but I don't know about the whole, that there will be a lot of places he could play next year. Nobody reads misspelled comments better than the beard. Hit that like button. Look, that's what I do. I read it how you put it up there. One person's been eerily quiet. We're talking general football today, so I thought the man Chatter would be all over this show. He's not. It's kind of crazy. Gannon coached his way to a tank season. Serves him right. Absolutely, Drew. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. I more feel bad for the Washington situation, their division rivals, than the Arizona situation. Agreed, Phil, about the mental of Murray. Interesting to see if he still has that mobility coming off. Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. I agree with you on this. He's still got, you got to assume he's going to have some talent still. He's basically Jalen Hurts without the mental intangibles, without the work ethic. There are a lot of people that thought that Kyler Murray is 10 times the quarterback that Jalen Hurts is. But Jalen Hurts has the work ethic, the mentality, and the wherewithal to do whatever it takes. Kyler Murray doesn't. So there's a big difference there. Phil, I got to ask before, because a Trey got traded to, is Kyle on the hot seat now that he traded away the 3rd overall pick for Mr. Irrelevant? Kyle Shanahan? Well, Kyle Shanahan didn't make that trade. John Lynch did. Kyle Shanahan should be on the hot seat for not developing Trey Lance better. Trey Lance had the injury, but still, Kyle Shanahan should be on the hot seat for not giving Trey Lance more of a shot, for sure. But John Lynch, I think that whole organization it's crazy a team made the NFC Championship game, but the decisions they've made put their coaches and GMs on the hot seat. Because the 49ers are making the playoffs again this year. Even if they don't win the division, they're not going to lose enough games because there's enough talent on that team to win. But has there ever been a coach that makes the NFC Championship game, then next year maybe makes the divisional round, that gets fired? If it hasn't happened before, it might happen in San Fran because they've really screwed the pooch with the Trey Lance and that quarterback situation there. They really have. And I bet you there's some division in that locker room right now. I'm sure there are some players on the team that were fans of Trey Lance. I am. I'm sure of it. There are 4 legit quarterbacks in next year's draft. Is there? Okay. I'll trust you on that, Tyrone, because I don't follow that college foosball that much. I don't know. I just know the one guy from USC is top billing. I'm at my part-time. I got to sneak in the comments. Hey, my man Eric, always appreciate the support, my man. As long as we're hitting that like button and share button, that's all that matters to me. The Cards will buy Murray out. I think they could be able to trade him. They might not get a first-round pick, Drew, but there'll be enough teams interested in Kyler Murray to make that trade. Look at this. We're talking all this other stuff because the Eagles organization is so set. Isn't it great right now? Such a great time to be an Eagles fan. John Lynch is the real problem. I've heard other people say that, K1, and you may be right on that. Very well may be right that John Lynch is the problem. 3 first-round picks and players, and you only got exactly. And that's why John Lynch, you might see, if San Francisco does not win a Super Bowl, They don't make the Super Bowl, I'll say. If the San Francisco 49ers do not make the Super Bowl, John Lynch could be out at the end of the season. Kyle Shanahan could be out at the end of the season. It's really interesting. Really interesting the way that could play out. Tells how good that defense has been. They've done this with basically me a quarterback. Yeah, I don't buy the Brock Purdy hype. Just so you know, Tyrone, I don't. NFC East clips. I don't know who you are, but welcome to the show, my man. NFC East. Eagles are winning it. Cowboys are 2. Dallas 3. Washington. We might have the exact same finishing positions as last year in the NFC East. It is. So I got a $50 bet that Eagles again have better record than Eagles. $50 bet that the Eagles have a better record than the Eagles. You might want to rephrase that comment because I don't understand that. Yes, but still, you don't think Kyle and Lynch talked about it before? Oh yeah, I'm sure they talked about it. And Kyle Shanahan said, "Sure, I got you want to get rid of Lance. I'm not going to give him a chance. He's my third string guy. Maybe if you can get something that's going to improve the football team, he's not going to get a chance this year. Sam Darnold's my backup, and Brock Purdy's my guy." I'm sure they talked about it. But if you tell me that Kyle Shanahan said, "Yeah, it's okay if you only get a fourth round pick for him," I don't know about that. I can't see. It's too tiny on my screen what that emoji is. 49ers win 9 to 10 games this year. If that's the case, Drew, well, you can kiss all that coaching staff and front office goodbye, without a shadow of a doubt. You also got to think. Hold on, back to this for a second. I'll get to the other comments in a second. Don't forget that they lost their defensive coordinator as well. D'Amico Ryan or DeMarco Ryan or D'Amico Ryan, former Eagles linebacker, now the head coach of the Houston Texans. Losing your defensive coordinator, like us losing defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon, it's a positive. 49ers losing their defensive coordinator might not be as big of a positive as it is for the Eagles. He's a great defensive coordinator. He was a rising star in coaching ranks. Hell, he almost got a head coaching job back when Nick Sirianni got hired in that coaching circle. So them losing him to the Houston Texans, this 9 and 10 wins thing could be a possibility. What's your brother? I'm going to have to ask him. I have not talked to my brother in a few days, and he is a huge 49ers fan. So I'm going to have to ask him. I'll find out. I'll talk to you guys about that after I hear back from him. My bad. Eagles better record than the 49ers. Oh, you had to rush it because you didn't want to get caught chatting on a show here. Gotcha. Yeah, that's an easy bet. The Eagles are winning 13 games. 49ers might win 11 or 12 games. They might, like Drew said, win 9 or 10 games. Eagles aren't losing more than 5 games this year. That's the max. I think we are sleeping on Washington. Cue the laughter. I have a new soundboard? There's got to be a laughter thing here. Nope, I don't know how to do these sounds here. I have to figure out how to work the new soundboard. But yeah, no, Washington. I'm not worried about Washington at all. It's an ear. I'm listening for the clips to post. See, you're just trying to steal my clips. That's fine. As long as you tag Trending in the AM, the best morning show in the Philadelphia area, for sure. I appreciate it. I couldn't see. I've got my screen pushed so far back I couldn't see the emojis. Broadcast the entire division could be 8-9 wins or more. Hold on, my broadcasting. I don't know. Hey, my man, greatly appreciate it. I think Peanut won. Oh, who's this? Who's this sneaking in here? What is this? What are you doing to me? But I appreciate it. I know who it is now. That is Mr. Peanut under the My Broadcasting System name. Hey, look, you won. I'm over it. I've moved on. I'm ready to win a new league this year. Us losing Gannon is equivalent to Harden walking. I hope so. You got to get up to game speed on the soundboard. Dude, I just installed it yesterday morning before the show. It took me longer to get this arm in a place here to get the microphone. So now I have my whole desk free here. Connect. Correct. That's right. Correct. I appreciate it. Damn, Phil, after that trade, the first thing you should have done is check with your brother. He might be in silence right now. He might be in hiding. He'll tell me he's not a fan. He's too busy to be busy this year. That's what he'll say. I'm too busy at my work this year. Whenever the 49ers stink, he just happens to have his busiest years at work and can't watch. That's why he's a Fugazi fan, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. And just for this, I will finally admit, yes, Peanut, you won, fair and square. I will never live broadcast a draft while I'm drafting it again. Plain and simple. So, yes, I love you, buddy. I appreciate you. Thanks. I will tag your channel and show if I used anything. Yeah, man, appreciate it, my man. Greatly appreciate anybody and all people's support, my man. Greatly appreciate it. Look, it's interesting. Hold on, let's see here. What was this? Think Dak feeling slighted will lose Dallas a couple extra games. I do, and that's why these were my picks and predictions yesterday. I think Dallas is a very talented team on paper. I think Dak Prescott's extremely underrated quarterback on paper. As an Eagles fan, I'm not afraid to say that. But, 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 what I will say is that the Trey Lance situation, the Dak comments, the Jerry Jones comments, all of a sudden the culture. What do we talk about? Eagles culture all the time. It starts to slip. On paper, the talent alone, Dallas is an 11-win team in my opinion. They're a wild card team, but you can see the wheels already starting to fall, or the bolts on the wheels starting to loosen up a little bit, Nick. And would it shock me if Dallas only wins 8 games or 9 games this year? No, because culture plays such a factor in all things NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, locker room. There's so much that goes into it. It would not shock me if Mike McCarthy doesn't make it to the end of the season. It wouldn't shock me if Dak Prescott requests a trade at some point this year or at the end of this season. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't. For Mike not being told about the trade is problematic. They want Quinn. Dan Quinn as head coach. I think they originally wanted Sean Payton as head coach. That didn't work out. So now we're stuck in this situation that we're in right now. And look, Mike McCarthy is not a great head coach. I find him extremely overrated. Um, and like I said, I hope Dak gets traded out of Dallas eventually. You know what? I'll buy a Dak Prescott jersey as soon as he leaves Dallas. I'm a Dak Prescott fan. He's a really nice guy. He's a really solid. We just talked about it with what's going on with Kyler Murray, that there's a severe lack of talent at quarterback in the NFL. And all those teams that would be interested in Kyler Murray, all of them will also be interested in Dak Prescott, who'll be coming up on the end of his contract, so you can renegotiate it however you want. Dak Prescott is better than most quarterbacks in the NFL. He's in the top end, not the bottom end or the middle tier. He's not a great quarterback, but that just goes to show where the quarterback situation is in the NFL right now. Dak said he was only going to have 10 interceptions this year. No. John, he did not say he was only going to have 10 interceptions this year. He said he will not throw 10 interceptions this year, which leaves him open to throw 9, 11, 14, or 8, or 3, or 16, or 37. He just can't throw 10. If he ends exactly on 10 interceptions, it will be a riot. What do I think of Dan Sillyman saying Cowboys will beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game? Well, he is Dan Simpleton, Dan Sillyman. Dan Silly is the epitome of clickbait media. The fact that he has said the things he does constantly and still has the platform that he has is an embarrassment. I thought Jacob Media was going to be an alternative to the Dial in Philadelphia. Them putting him out there every single day, and I think he pays for his time. So I don't know, but he is an embarrassment. He just literally says whatever he can think of. He's on a Philadelphia sports media channel, and he does whatever he can to piss Philadelphia fans off. Yet everybody tunes in, and everybody that tunes in and complains about how awful he is, I blame them because that's why he's got a platform. If people just stop listening to him and ignore him, then he wouldn't have an audience, and then he'd just go off into the sunset, and we can ignore him. He's a simpleton and a silly man that really has no idea what he's doing, and you can quote me on that. Biggest difference between Dallas and Philly: if CD or Pollard go down, they are done. Not the same for the Eagles. They don't have the depth. Well, CD, I mean, they did bring in the wide receiver, Brandon Cooks, so that'll help them a little bit. But yeah, the Dallas team is not as deep. Definitely not as deep as the other teams. We are now. I missed the 9 o'clock mark. We're at 9:09. We got 21 minutes left in this show. Make sure you're hitting that like. We got 18 likes on YouTube. We got 5 on Facebook. Likes are free. Let me say that again. Likes and shares are free. How many bad games from Dak will it take before they start hearing Dallas fans calling for Lance? Well, look, Lance ain't any better than Dak. It's not. Trey Lance is extremely unproven. But if they get to a point where they're out of the playoffs late in the season, you might see Trey get a couple games. I like Dak too. Look, I can say it very fairly, NFC East Clips, as an Eagles fan, as a diehard Eagles fan, that Dak Prescott is a real when he came into the draft, whatever year that was, 2013, 14, whatever it was, Mississippi State. I wanted the Eagles to target him. We didn't have a quarterback at the time. Dak was my guy coming out that draft. I thought he was going to be the best quarterback in that draft. And I forget what other quarterbacks came out that year, but I was a very big fan of his game. I called him like a cross between Dante Culpepper, Donovan McNabb, and just his personal story is really strong. But he's on the Cowboys, so I have to hate him. Um, it's okay to be honest and an Eagles fan at the same time, as long as you do it the right way. You better get an Eagles Kelly Green jersey before you ever get a Dak Prescott jersey. Dude, I was looking at them. I was looking at the Kelly Greens on DH Gate. I was. I almost ordered a Hertz one and a Cunningham one the other day. Almost did. I'm trying to save a few pennies right now, though. Dak getting Lance is like Carson getting Hertz. It's all downhill from here. I don't know. I don't know if Dak is a pretty even keeled, level headed guy. He might have it in the inside, but he's not going to let it show um, at all. Yeah, we're on the same page there for sure. There. That's why Cilio is simping for Hooters. Look, Dan Cilio, man, he's the worst. You know, he is. Dan silly man, simple man, troll man, whatever it is. You got the. You goaded me into clips. You got it. Anytime you want a clip, just come on. We're here every single morning, 8:15 a.m. I will give you every clip you need, my man. I'm gonna look up your page after the show. Breaking. Derek Barnett wants to be traded. Yeah, well, no crap. He wants to be traded. Um, I think the change at OC is a big thing in Dallas. New line coach as well. Not an easy thing to get over. I think that's fair, Tyrone. Look, I just think the culture is off, and we talk about it. I mean, that is why the Eagles are so special because their culture right now is unbreakable. What Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni? Did you guys see the video of Marcus Mariota, Boston Scott, Cam Jurgens and company taking kicks? Like that whole video, everybody having fun, and then Jalen Hurts bringing it down to earth and let's go, let's focus. At the end of the video, if you haven't seen it, it was on the Eagles Twitter page yesterday. I mean, the culture is on point, and I don't think there's anything right now that can rattle that culture. Um, Same year as Carson Wentz. Yeah, so I didn't want Carson Wentz that year. I wanted Dak Prescott. That is what I was looking for. Now I'm a Dak Prescott guy. Yeah, East Clips. I like Dak Prescott. Going into the 2020 season, I had Carson Wentz as my number 4 quarterback in the NFL, ahead of Deshaun Watson with the Texans before all that happened. He was my number 4 quarterback in the NFL. I thought he was an elite quarterback. I was wrong. But I always liked Dak Prescott's game and his personality and his personal story. I don't like Micah Parsons. Wish Eagles fans wouldn't twerk for him. Great player, but he's a tool. Davey, you're the first person to say it. I value all opinions. I always say where your opinions matter right here on Training the AM. Micah Parsons is working his way to an Eagles uniform someday. But I respect that. I wanted him over Devontae Smith. I was willing to trade up. I still remember I was an early part of my podcasting career, and I had said the Eagles need to trade up to get Micah Parsons. I was willing to go up as high as it took to get Micah Parsons. Thanks so far, but hey, that's all. Hey, I wish I had 3,600 views. This morning show, and I bet you the Core 12 will vouch for me. This morning show deserves 3,600 viewers a day because this is what we do every day. We just roll through comments. Not always football. Sometimes a little basketball and baseball mixed in. And I tried, John. If you're still watching, I tried to get baseball talked about today. Nobody wanted to talk about baseball today. We all want to talk football because we're all so excited. The Niners could have drafted Parsons at 12 instead of Trey Lance. Yeah, they could have. And the Niners defense, and they would still have mediocre quarterback play at this point. Hilarious. Cowboys remind me of Ryan Pace's Bears. They copy Howie a year too late. There's a difference between being proactive and reactive. The Cowboys are a reactive team. The Eagles, Howie Roseman is proactive. Carson Wentz helped Davey, without a shadow of a doubt. No one's taking this away. Look, let me tell you something. Carson Wentz, I have not thrown my Carson Wentz gear away because when he retires and a few years pass, I will be rocking my Carson Wentz gear again. We do not win that Super Bowl without Carson Wentz. We do not win all those games without Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, even missing those last few games, in my opinion, should have won the MVP that year. I really believe that. Carson Wentz was unstoppable. And I don't blame the Jalen Hurts situation for his downfall. I blame the injuries. He started getting happy feet. His clock just started ticking one tick too fast. And once you get scared of getting hit, you're done. You can't be elite. Um, Davey, you will say that in 2 years when he's gone and Parsons. I don't know. We'll find out. Sorry, Phil. As bad as Carson is, he put us in position. Again, I'm just telling you what I thought going into that draft. Going into that draft, I had Dak Prescott as the quarterback of the future for the Eagles. I'm not taking anything away from what Carson. I think you guys are misconstruing my Dak Prescott conversation. Nothing to do with what Carson did. I don't know. I wasn't ready at that moment to trade all those picks to move up for Carson Wentz. I said you could have gotten Dak in the second or third round, and I would have been fine because I liked his skill. Look, Carson Wentz has had a greater career than Dak Prescott at this point. In fact, I think that's a tweet after this show. Dak is not as good as Carson. I'm writing it down so I don't forget to tweet it after the show. That'll piss a lot of Cowboys fans off. Because of that year in 2017. So I just want you to understand that. Nolan Smith is our Parsons. I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, core 12. I'm a little behind. That's good. 36,000 subs. Look, I'll take 36 live people watch the show. We crossed 30 today, once or twice views, live views at a time. Go Phillies, John. I agree with you 1,000%. Go Phillies because you know what? Red October. I won't lie, guys. Red October in the middle of the football season, we will be talking baseball on a regular basis. We will. John, I'm thinking of doing a second show like once a week or twice a week in the afternoon or night or from the afternoon at the pizza shop just so I could talk Phillies because nobody wants to talk Phillies on the morning show. So I got to get some Phillies talk. I'm going to consider doing extra shows. Get up to speed on that sound bar and you'll have 3,600 views too. I appreciate that. Maybe someone could teach me. I tried to Google search it. I got it from China or something like that. I can't find an instruction guide other than how to plug it in. If he becomes an Eagle, I'll back him, but he's a Cowboy. All right, I got you. I got you. I got you, Tyrone. I wish, but my channel is only 10 days old. Well, guess what? If you get clips from shows like this, where you get me trashing Dan Sileo or trashing of the Cowboys, you'll get plenty of clips and plenty of views. Carson Wentz didn't deserve to get the plug pulled on him with Colts. That killed his career, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, he was actually not that bad. He came up small in that last game of the year, if I believe Eric correctly. But he wasn't awful that year with the Colts. If they would have taken their time to build around him there, I think they could have done something there, but we'll see. What's up with Nolan not practicing for the I'm actually a little concerned that his shoulder's a little worse off than people think and that he's led on. But then letting Dark Barnett seek a trade makes me think that he's fine. So I'm a little we'll see how the day goes with this 53-man roster. If they bring in another defensive end after cutting or trading Dark Barnett, then that tells me Nolan Smith ain't going to be ready. In the playoffs, all is forgiven. That is correct, without a shadow. A YouTube it, Phil. You'll be an expert by an 11 a.m. Look, I don't know what the name brand on this board is, but I got it from some site offline. I don't know. It works great. I love the mic. I love the boom the arm or whatever it's called here, so it clears my table up a little bit. But man, I have no idea. Cilio versus Phil. Dude, I will go one-on-one with Dan Cilio. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. I'll bring him on the show. I think I said this before, K1. I've invited him onto the show. I will say, welcome to our special guest, Dan Cilio. I'll put his face on the screen, and then I'll click him right off the screen, and we'll just go about our business. I'll embarrass the hell out of that man. But no, I would seriously, you know what, all that talk, like I say, I don't bash these guys, like really hard. Because you never know. Dan Cilio's got a huge audience. I do not. I get 100, 200 views a show on YouTube. He gets thousands. I'd listen for an afternoon show, Red October. Look, I will do a Red October. We'll call it Trent in the AM meets Red October afternoon shows. Once we get close to the playoffs, I'm going to start setting it up right now. I'm doing it, and it'll be in the afternoon. I'll do it from the pizza shop in the afternoon. I've got an old soundboard now with an old mic. I can bring that, set up the pizza shop. You're going to get 2 shows a week day from me. Come then, that would be hilarious. In Indy with that emo owner after them firing Reich, Carson was done. Absolutely agree with you. Look, Jim Irsay. We talk about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Jim Irsay is no better. Jim Irsay is a train wreck. And you know we always talk about Howie and Nick Sirianni and Joe. I don't think Jeffrey Lurie gets enough credit in Philadelphia for the culture he's brought to the city, and not just with the organization and the team itself, building a winning team regularly. The Andy Reid era, lots of winning, no Super Bowls, but lots of winning. You know, before that, Ray Rhodes gets us the playoff win, and he starts building the Andy Reid, then Doug Peterson, Chip Kelly, Nick Sirianni. But it's also what he does in the community, what he does for the fans, outside of his season ticket holder box, prize gift, whatever it is. I heard that was awful compared to what other cities do for their season ticket holders. But man, what he does as a whole for the community and the city of Philadelphia, top notch. He is probably, I don't think he gets, if you take the whole package of Jeffrey Lurie into consideration, I don't think Jeffrey Lurie gets enough credit. He might be one of the top 3 or 4 owners in all the sports in the world, counting all the soccer clubs, everything, cricket teams. I don't know any of their owners, but Jeffrey Lurie might be one of those top guys, owners, because he does not get. You see what happens in so many other sports with their owners. There's no controversy. Look, Jeffrey Lurie went through a divorce. He had a girlfriend and went through a divorce. He handled it the right way. Everything happened in public eye perfectly. He does not bring controversy to the table whatsoever, Jeffrey Lurie. My mouse died for a second. Come on. Come with some crazy hot takes. Build that village. You want me to have hot takes? Man, I can't do it. Last year, I had a hot take last year. I said the Eagles were going to win 15 games and win the Super Bowl. Nobody thought I was crazy, though. That was the problem. I thought it was a hot take, and I was 1 win off on my win. I said 15-2. I was 1 win off and 1 win in the Super Bowl off. How hot is Bryce Harper and Trey Turner? I started the show off, Kyle, saying it. Who else are we going to give standing ovations to in Philadelphia? Let's solve every Philadelphia sports problem. Hell, let's solve our city's problems. Let's give a standing ovation for the mayor. I don't even know who the mayor of Philadelphia is. Let's just give everybody standing ovation. Give my pizza shop a standing ovation. This is the way. Hot takes is the way. I refuse to spew crazy hot takes. I do. Carson Wentz is the 4th best quarterback in the league in 2020 and 15 wins in a Super Bowl win last year for the Eagles. That didn't do it for me. I got to get crazier, I guess. Mr. Lurie just comes off as a really nice man. Absolutely. He literally, truly does care about every person in Philadelphia, whether they're an Eagles fan or not. Lurie's a billionaire. None of them are nice. He's just smart not to get it. Look, you might be right there, honestly. But you know what? Image is everything. Perception is reality. And the perception of Jeffrey Lurie is that he cares. So perception is reality in this case, what K1, until it's proven otherwise. Soccer clubs have the worst owners, probably. I can see that. K1, the core 12 will understand. So if I start spewing some crazy hot takes, Marcus Mariota should be the starting quarterback for the Eagles because Jalen Hurts threw an interception at practice. I don't know. I don't even know how to make hot takes. My hot take is the New York Giants finish above the Cowboys this season. Based off of everything we've just said over the last 20 minutes, is that even a hot take? I don't know. Interesting. Hot take NFL record-wise? Cardinals winning 1 game, is that a hot take? They might win 0. The Browns finishing in last place in the NFC North. I'm looking at this board here, my predictions here. I don't know. I don't see a hot take anywhere. I did try to say, what do I think of the Trey Lance trade? I think that I said at the beginning of the show that I think that if Brock Purdy is not it and he's not him, that the 49ers will have some serious upheaval in their front office and coaching ranks. after the season, and that if the Cowboys don't win a lot of games this year, that Dak Prescott is going to one out because of this situation. So there's going to be a lot of flip flopping around, going around the NFL because of that Trey Lance situation. And John Lynch needs to be held accountable for trading so much to get him and then getting rid of him so quickly for so little. Um, no. James Harden's going to the new Saudi Arabian basketball league. $900 million rumor he was offered because now they start their own golf league. Now they're going to start their own NBA league. Sure, why not? They can't buy a team, so why not? Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Chatter. Welcome to the chat. We've talked all things not Eagles today, and you've been missing. And now we're in the final 5 minutes. It's time to the final 5 minutes is when we start the wrap up. Appreciate it. I got a lot of good takes. I got some bad takes too. Do you know what you'll always see, NSC? You're new to the show, NSC's clips, I'm assuming. The one thing you'll always find here with this show and with me, A, everyone's opinion matters, and B is that I'm never afraid to admit I'm wrong. I've admitted I'm wrong more times than I want to count. But you know what? That's what I do. There is a hot take. Bills will not make the playoffs. I got the Bills with the same record as the Eagles at this point. Dolphins second, Jets third in that division. The Patriots only winning 6 games, which that'd almost be a hot take just because of Bill Belichick alone. I got the Saints winning the NFC South with only 8 wins. I have everybody in the NFC South winning negative game or not having a winning record. I think that's crazy. Phil's a humble man. He has a lot to be humble about. Look, I try to be humble. I wouldn't lie if I would say I don't have an ego. Every person that does these shows has an ego of some sort, but I try to stay humble. I really truly enjoy this every day. I would not get through my day-to-day business without doing this show every single morning. I started podcasting in the beginning of COVID, and special news, I'll break it tomorrow, what I'm doing later this week, something for y'all to check out. But started podcasting about 3 years ago in COVID, and there were some tough times. And doing shows once a week helped. Now doing shows every single day, like this energizes me. Now I get done here, I walk the dogs, I go to work. I just have so much more fun at work after doing this. Yeah, I could sleep an hour later every single morning. It would be nice. Hell, I'm bringing all my equipment to Mexico on my anniversary vacation because the Eagles play when I'm on vacation. And we're going to have to do some shows, not every day, but we're going to have to do some shows. So I try to stay humble. I do. And I appreciate those comments. Overtime. Do we really need overtime today? I've got so many things on my list. We are going to tease. Yeah, even my ego is humble. Hey, I try. I try, my man. I try. Wake and bake take of the day. Lynch is on the hot seat. I don't disagree. I don't think that's a hot take broadcasting system, Peanut. And the birds are trending in the right direction. Thank you very much, my man. I greatly appreciate it. Neither would I think it's Ursay. Yeah, Ursay's a problem, man. Wait for Freaky Fridays. Phil Snort. I did get a $5 super chat. I did, but he didn't ask for the overtime for it. I do say I can start giving you so because we got about a minute left. We will hit the overtime. Doesn't anybody care about the rules? This isn't now. There are rules here. All right. So what I'll do in this overtime, since I did get the $5 super chat, Peanut, thank you, man. What I will do is I'm going to list some of these things on my list that we didn't get into today. And some of these will be on the docket tomorrow. All right. So let me just go straight down my list. I did a poll on Twitter. The poll's not over. So we'll get more votes today and then we'll see. After Jalen Hurts, who would be your next favorite to win the MVP? So I think it's interesting what the odds are on the MVP race this year. Next thing, I was looking at something. I was curious what Nick Sirianni's odds for Coach of the Year were. Do you realize that Nick Sirianni is the 22nd in the rankings of odds for Coach of the Year? Kind of insulting. Davian Taylor cut by the Bears already. The Eagles 2020 draft, was it the worst ever for Howie Roseman or the best because he got Jalen Hurts? That 2020 draft outside of Jalen Hurts was atrocious, but we got Jalen Hurts. It's really interesting. We talked a little bit about the Cardinals. Colt McCoy I wanted to talk about Colt McCoy a little bit more today. And would you prefer him over Marcus Mariota as our backup quarterback? That was on the agenda. Eagles' chance at stand. The Phillies are red hot, winning games, scoring runs, and you got Eagles' chance. It annoys the hell out of me when people break out in Eagles' chance at sporting events that aren't Eagles. That was on my agenda. Didn't get to it. And we talked movies, we've talked music, we've talked wrestling. Again, if you did not tear up during the Bray Wyatt tributes on Friday, they replayed them last night on Monday Night Raw, and I teared up again. No to McCoy as our backup quarterback. Well, Colt McCoy was going to be a starting quarterback, and now he's a free agent. As a player, as a coach, yes. Player, nope on Colt McCoy. Okay, that's fair. Reporting live from Germany, Drew in Deutschland. I love it. Ich spreche Deutsch, aber nicht sehr gut. 2020 Eagles draft and 21 Cowboys draft, both trash, except for Jalen Hurts. Dude, I said one other thing on Twitter yesterday, and I don't even remember what brought this up. But I said this falls into the non-sports conversation that we like to bring to the table, and we're gonna have this conversation. So bring me your top 5 list tomorrow, guys. Carrot cake is the worst cake / dessert of all time. I don't even remember where that came from yesterday, but I was getting crushed on Twitter because I said carrot cake was awful. Rum cake is bad. Pineapple upside down cake is awful, but carrot cake is the worst cake of all time. I got crushed for that. That was on the agenda as well today. Du hast is the only German I know. Du hast. Ich spreche. Ich spreche. I took 3 years of it in high school, 2 semesters of it in college. I remember little bits and pieces of it. Guten Tag. Meine Name is Herr Stiefel. Herr Stiefel. I know my name is pronounced incorrectly in German. 49ers are going to struggle without the Miko Ryan. I said that at the beginning of the show. I expect another NFC team to merge. Like, I haven't written the Rams off completely. I haven't. They're not going to win their division, but they're going to be a better team. Whoa. Fruitcake. Fruitcake. Is that the Christmas cake that you get all the time? That's in the top 5 worst cakes, but that only comes out once a year. Whatever that Christmas cake is, that holiday cake is, that only comes out once a year, so that falls down the list of the worst. Stolen is the worst. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, we're going to start the wrap-up process here. Nice. Plan to learn German. It's a very difficult learning. A very difficult language to learn. Kyle, he's watching. He remembers Mrs. Robinson. She was our German teacher at Devon Prep in high school. I don't think Kyle was in the German class. I think he was in the Spanish class. But yeah, it is what it is. Look, lots of things on the docket that we could pick up right. I was going to say hair, but it's Frau Robinson is disappointed in you, Phil. Look, I still remember her little game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wo ist denn mein Ball geblieben? She used to bounce a rubber ball around to teach us our numbers. Rum cake while I was deployed in the Middle East. It gave me a buzz. Alcohol is illegal in Muslim countries. Interesting. I hate rum cake. It doesn't have like that moist, funky center. Like, it's disgusting. We're gonna take this up another notch tomorrow. We're gonna break down the 53 final man roster for the Eagles, any trades they make today, and some of these topics. Sirianni's Coach of the Year odds. Who's going to win the MVP if it's not Jalen Hurts? Carrot cake being the worst, and of course, my favorite, the Eagles' chance at other sporting events. I hate it. But we are going to start the wrap-up process here. You're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. A lot of new people. Likes are free if you're watching this on replay. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. I greatly appreciate any and all support every single day. Shout out to my man Peanut for the super chat. Can't do it without you. Everybody have a great day. Everybody enjoy their Tuesday. We know who the Eagles starting 53 is tomorrow. I can't wait to break it down. You want the 500? I could use it. My dryer just kicked last night. Second time in a week, so I think it's time to get a new dryer. Got a lot of clothes hanging up all over this house that should be put in the dryer. But yeah, everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Maybe, just maybe. That's why you hit the bell, which is the notifications if you haven't done it yet. I might have to go and start the show early tomorrow based off all the topics I still got to cover, based off of the fact the 53-man roster, based off the fact that John wants to talk Phillies and Kyle does and I do. We might have to start at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So make sure you turn those notifications on. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Trending in the AM. I am Phil Stiefel for Philadelphia Sports Network. Have a great day. Go Birds.